to Icons of Influence, where we celebrate the people who've shaped culture, challenged convention, and changed the world. Today, we're diving into the life of a woman who didn't just design clothes, she redefined what it meant to be a woman in the modern world. I'm talking, of course, about Coco Chanel. Born Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel in 1883 in Saumur, France, her beginnings were anything but glamorous. After her mother's death, young Gabrielle was sent to an orphanage run by nuns. It was there, oddly enough, that she first learned to sew, a skill that would become the foundation of an empire. The nuns taught her precision, restraint, and an appreciation for simplicity, values that would later become hallmarks of her design aesthetic. But before fashion, there was survival. Chanel earned the nickname Coco during a brief stint as a cabaret singer. Some say it was from a song she performed, others suggest it was a nod to her coquettish personality. Either way, it stuck. She began making hats, gaining a small but fashionable following. But Coco Chanel had more than millinery in mind. She had vision, grit, and a taste for independence in an era that expected women to stay confined to corsets and convention. Her entry into fashion wasn't just about style, it was a cultural rebellion. She wasn't sewing, she was sculpting a new woman, one who moved, breathed, worked, lived. She freed women from the shackles of stiff clothing, giving them garments they could live in. This wasn't just fashion, this was freedom. Coco Chanel opened her first boutique in Deauville in 1913, selling hats and casual, sporty clothes made of jersey, a fabric then reserved for men's underwear. Imagine that, using underwear fabric to craft revolutionary women's fashion. It was bold, it was shocking, and it was perfect for the post-Edwardian woman who was craving movement and modernity. She expanded rapidly, opening a couture house in Paris and gaining attention for her pared-down silhouettes, her use of neutral colours, and her uncanny ability to blend masculine and feminine energy into a single, wearable statement. The Chanel suit, with its clean lines, boxy jacket and braid-trimmed skirt, became a symbol of sophisticated rebellion. But Chanel didn't stop at clothing. In 1921, she introduced a fragrance that would change the world, Chanel No. 5. It wasn't just a perfume, it was a cultural phenomenon. The first of its kind to use a complex blend of notes and a sleek, minimalist bottle, Chanel No. 5 was radical, modern, and utterly timeless. It was luxury, bottled, and then there was her signature piece, the little black dress, introduced in 1926. Vogue called it the uniform of the modern woman. Simple, elegant, versatile, it democratized fashion. The LBD wasn't just a style, it was a statement. Her designs weren't just about appearances, they represented a philosophy. Chanel wanted women to feel comfortable and powerful, to move freely, to live fully. She didn't just create clothes, she created confidence. But like many icons of influence, Chanel's story isn't without complexity and controversy. During World War II, Chanel closed her fashion house and took up residence at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, a hotspot for Nazi officers. Her relationship with a German intelligence officer and alleged attempts to leverage Nazi connections to reclaim control of her perfume business led to serious scrutiny after the war. She was briefly interrogated but never charged, and she fled to Switzerland for nearly a decade in self-imposed exile. Many saw this period as the end of her legacy, but Coco wasn't done. In 1954, at the age of 71, she made an astonishing comeback in a world now dominated by Dior's ultra-feminine new look. But Chanel had no interest in returning to the days of tight waists and full skirts. She doubled down on her philosophy, clean, comfortable, elegant, and slowly the world came back around. Her comeback collection was panned in France, but adored in the US and the UK. Her timeless approach resonated with a new generation of women, professional, independent, on the move. Even her personal style, short hair, loose suits, strings of pearls, and that ever-present scent of Chanel No. 5 became a brand in itself. She wasn't just selling clothes, she was selling liberation. Coco Chanel died in 1971 at the Ritz, still working, still designing. She was 87. But her influence? It lives on everywhere. Her fashion house, now led for decades by Karl Lagerfeld and more recently Virginie Viard, has continued to evolve while honouring her spirit. Her designs still walk the runways, grace the red carpets, and hang in the closets of women around the globe. More than her garments, Chanel's real legacy lies in what she stood for. She proved that fashion could be empowering, that women could define their own aesthetics, and by extension, their own identities. She redefined beauty standards, making elegance synonymous with ease. She taught us that luxury must be comfortable, otherwise it is not luxury. And perhaps most powerfully, she showed the world what it looks like to forge your own path, unapologetically. Yes, she was flawed, complex, a symbol of brilliance and at times contradiction, but that's what makes her human and influential. She didn't just change wardrobes, she changed culture. That's it for this episode of Icons of Influence. Coco Chanel wasn't just a designer, she was a disruptor, a woman who rose from poverty to power, who challenged expectations, and who dared to say that fashion could be more than fabric. It could be freedom. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, rate, and share Icons of Influence. And tell us, who do you want to hear about next? Until next time, stay inspired and keep creating change.